before we start, I just want to go over one thing, and then we're going to be starting on all fours, and I want to show you some modification for that. Please, a reminder, take practice today and always at your own pace. And that means you can always choose to do less. You can choose to do more. You can choose to stop and do something else entirely from what I am indicating. It's really your practice and your body, and no one has the wisdom. No one has the wisdom of your body better than you do. You're really the pro here. So I'm just guiding. So a couple things I just want to share in terms of, if you don't like to be on all fours, the warm-up can happen in the chair. We're going to be doing a little bit of cat and cow, and then thread the needle is a twist. It can happen like this, or it can happen like this. You'll decide. I'm going to talk it through on the floor, so I wanted to share. And then there's bird dog, which is opposite arm, opposite leg. And so you can do like this, or if you'd like to fold over, can be on your hands, or you can be on your wrists and also do it like this. So you have those options for standing. And then I also want to quickly go over. No, actually, I'll do it a little bit later. That's enough for now. So please take a seat in any way that you would like, just for a moment, on the floor or in the chair. Just to land, to begin to come in to your body, to your breath, to your heart, and just to notice what's here for you today. And to ask the question, what would feel most life-giving for you today in this practice? What would feel most life-giving, most like a blessing? Asking yourself, what is it that I really deeply, deeply need? And seeing if anything arises in response. And it's okay if nothing does. What do I most need? And if something does arise, just to say, yes, thank you for that information. I'm gonna work on giving that to myself in this practice and today. So we begin on all fours or in the chair, and either with the hands with the palms spread and the fingers, or if it's more comfortable for you, if it's painful to the wrists to have that flexion, you can be on the fists, is also just fine. And we're just going to begin with wrists under shoulders and knees under hips, and start with a little bit of arch and curl, cat and cow. So as we inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, widening the collarbones, gazing forward or up. And as we exhale, rounding the back, nice C curve. Tailbone and crown curling. Inhaling and arching. Let this be in your own time, in your own breath, just beginning to sync up breath and movement again as prayer, as a form of prayer, of offering, of gratitude. As slow or as vigorous as you'd like, but just really connecting, attuning movement with breath cycle and letting it flow. Okay, and that's on the vertical plane, and then we're going to come back to neutral, and we're going to take it kind of in this round, sort of horizontal plane. Again, this can be also done seated. We're just taking the rib cage more or less around in a circle. Doesn't matter which direction you choose first. So we're kind of incorporating the arch and the curl as the rib cage makes some circles, and you can be really wide with this or just smaller. See what works, and then take it the other direction. Just finding this nuance, finding any nooks and crannies to discover here. And then come back to neutral spine. Let's sit it back for a moment in child pose. So drawing the buttocks toward the heels. It could be child or it could be puppy with the bottom in the air. And if you're sitting in the chair, widen the legs. It's just a fold over, maybe forearms to thighs. Just extending the spine. Be here and breathe. And then coming back to all fours, we're going to extend the right arm forward, palm facing in, and left leg back, toes pointing down. And again, you can either do it if you're in the chair, either way that I showed, standing or folding forward with hands to the chair. So here we're breathing, we're drawing the navel to the spine, roll that left thigh in so that it's square, right? So that the leg is not turned out. We're really extending through the heel, and we're lifting really at the root of the thigh. So we're building some heat in the gluteal muscles on both sides, actually. Really strengthening through the hips, the glutes. Extend through the fingertips, extend through the heels. Let there be some heat here. Continue to breathe. Neck and head in line. One long line, and then release. Ooh, really can build some heat pretty quickly. And then we take the other side. So left arm extended, palm is facing in, right leg coming back. So again, you want to see that the leg doesn't turn out. We're closing it. We're rolling the thigh down. Toes pointing down toward the floor. Heel extended back. Fingertips extending. And the leg doesn't come any higher than the hip, right? Hip and heel, hip and ankle in the same line. Extended belly, drawing in, neck and head easy. Just keeping that line. Notice how your balance feels on each side. Breathing. And then as you're ready, coming on down. Shake it out in any way you would like. Wag your tail or another child pose. See what you need. Feel free to continue with any little movements while I share some words, or if you'd like to sit, or if you'd like to lie down. Any of those are terrific. So as I said, here we are, Parshat Re'eh, in the book of Deuteronomy, on this 20th of Av. It begins, Re'eh, Anochi noten lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See, Re'eh, the verb lirot, right, to see. Look, see. This day I set before you bracha, blessing, and curse, klala. Blessing if you obey the commandments of Adonai your God that I enjoin upon you this day, and curse if you do not obey the commandments of Adonai your God and you turn from the path. I want to share some beautiful writings from Rabbi Alan Liu, the book on the high holidays. This is real and you are completely unprepared. So So begins Parshat Re'eh, right? Re'eh, look, see. Look, pay attention to your life. Every moment in it is profoundly mixed. Every moment contains a blessing and a curse. Everything depends on our seeing our lives with clear eyes, seeing the potential blessing in each moment, as well as the potential curse, choosing the former, forswearing the latter. Parshat Re'eh begins with a concretization of this spiritual reality, a ritual that renders this invisible reality visible. As the Israelites crossed the Jordan River to enter the Promised Land, they staged a dramatic pageant. They wrote the word of God on 12 great stones and placed the stones on the peak of Mount Gerizim. Half the nation of Israel stood on the slopes of Mount Gerizim and the other half on the slopes of Mount Ebal across the valley. Standing in the valley between the two mountains, the Levites, the priestly tribe, faced Mount Gerizim and intoned a series of blessings, and all the people said, Amen. And then the Levites faced the slopes of Mount Ebal and intoned a series of curses, and all the people said again, Amen. The message of this ritual was clear. The will of God is present in every moment. Every moment contains the capacity for good and evil, life and death, blessing and curse, and everything depends on our choice. Quote from Torah, look, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life so that you may live. Moses repeats in the ringing peroration to the book of Deuteronomy. And Alan Luce says, we learn a number of things from this. We learn that this business of choosing good over evil, life over death, is precisely a matter of life and death. Our lives quite literally depend on it. And we learn that it is a matter of consciousness also. We've come to see our life very clearly, clearly enough so that we can discern the will of God in it, so that we can tell the difference between the blessing and the curses, so that these things are arrayed before us as clearly as mountains, as we intone their names from the valley in between, that sliver of eternity on which we stand that we call the present moment. That is why we're advised to spend the month of Elul, right, upcoming, in the regular practice of introspection, self-examination, and silence. And then he goes on to say, although we no longer have the two great mountains to help us see this choice in concrete form, we have Elul, a time to gaze upon the inner mountains, to devote serious attention to bringing our lives into focus, a time to clarify the distinction between the will of God and our own willfulness, to identify that in us which yearns for life and that which clings to death, that which seeks good and that which is fatally attracted to the perverse, to find out who we are and where we are going. So telling this difference between blessing and curse, discerning the difference, figuring out our relationship to these things, and using our tools. So our tool on the mat to really bring our vision in clearly, re'eh, and to notice, to see, is this movement leading me to greater constriction or greater freedom, to greater opening and relief, or am I making it worse on myself? Is my practice making me lighter or heavier? So I want to attune in this way as we practice today and be able to draw in perhaps a little strongly, more strongly to blessing. So let's make our way to standing. You could do that through a squat or a ragdoll. And just hang over, shift a little side to side, maybe swing a little side to side with the arms. Just see what you need. And then as you're ready, slowly pressing into the feet. to roll up vertebra by vertebra. And I just want to show, for those who feel more comfortable having a chair nearby for the sun salute, how you can work with that so that you don't have to come up and down too much, right? We'll inhale up, then we'll come forward, we'll lengthen the spine, and then we'll step back. So it's here, right? So you can stay here. If you want to bring your hands up, you can. And then we're meeting and doing a little bit of baby cobra. It can look like this, just arching back a little bit. Child pose or downward facing dog. We can come to here, keep the knees as bent as you like, lengthen the upper body, and then stepping forward, same thing, right? Meeting, folding over, and then coming up. And then we're going to move into some standing poses, right? You can use your balance in just the same way with the chair. So I just want you to know that that option is there, or you might like to have a couple of blocks near you. And I'll show that way. Okay, friends, so coming to the top of your mat, taking the feet together or hip width apart as feels best for you. Just bringing the palms to the heart, finding mountain pose, lengthening from the corners of the heels all the way up the back body to the crown of the head. Lengthen your tailbone. Gently draw your navel toward your spine. Let the head float. Easy breathing. Okay. Inhale, take the arms out and up. And exhale, let's dive it or roll it down, coming forward over the legs. Hands to the shins or the blocks through the chair. Inhale, lengthen the spine long. And then exhale, step the right foot back, take the right knee down. And pause here. We'll just take a nice stretch for the quads, the hip flexors. Just start to wake up. You can rock it a little bit side to side. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, bring the hands to the floor, step it back. It can be plank, it could be knee down plank, and then lower it down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, baby cobra, draw those shoulder blades down the back. And then exhale, we'll come to puppy or child pose for this first one. Draw the navel to the spine as you lift up and start to come up to all fours, and then step the right foot forward here. Left knee is down again, just using the weight of the hips forward to help give a little stretch. You can rock it side to side, just see what you need. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, take the hands back to the blocks. Tuck the toes, step it forward. Fold. Inhale, we're rolling up the spine or flat back to come up, coming all the way up, arms up. One long inhale, and then exhale it back to center. And we take it again, inhaling, arms out and up. Exhaling, coming down. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, step the right foot back. Knee can be down or up, you decide here. So either a low lunge or the knee off the floor. Right hand to the block or to the floor. And let's inhale and take a twist, opening the left arm up to the ceiling. Hug that left knee toward the midline. And then exhaling, bring it down. Inhale, bring the arms up, high lunge. And exhale, hands coming down, step it back. lower down. Just take it as you need it. Inhale, small cobra or fuller cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, press it back. Child pose or puppy or downward facing dog. You choose. Feel in what would be a blessing, what would be bracha. And if you're coming to downward facing dog, maybe you'll pedal out the feet. If you're in child pose, you'll extend those hands a little bit further forward, make it active, elbows off the floor. Inhale the right leg up behind you if you're in down dog, and exhale, bring that knee forward, step it forward. Maybe it's a bunch of steps, you'll see what you need. That transition can be tough. Good, left hand to the block or to the floor. We're going to inhale that right arm up to the right, take a twist. Hug that right knee into the center line. Don't let it splay out. Breathe here. And then exhale, bring the arm down. Inhale, bring the arms up, lengthen up. And then exhale, fold it forward, step it forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, rolling up, or reverse the swan dive, arms up. And then exhale, back to the center line. Pause here. Good. Again, inhale, arms out and up. Lift it up, exhale, dive it forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, step that right foot back to a lunge. Inhale, lift the arms, high lunge. And then exhale, open it out, warrior two. Just pausing here for only a moment. Left palm up, inhale, lift up, reverse warrior. And exhale, cartwheel around, frame the foot, step it back, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra, cobra, upward facing dog. Your choice. Exhale, like child, puppy, downward facing dog. Just feel into it. Where can you encourage and grow blessing? Make your choices wisely for your own body, for this moment. Lots of permission, lots of permission. Inhale, right leg back and up. Exhale, draw the knee forward, one step or many steps, bringing it forward. Inhale, the arms up, high lunge. And exhale, open out, warrior two. Right palm up. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the whole thing forward. Step it forward, fold over the legs. Inhale, coming up. Arms up. And exhale, come back to the heart, palms to the heart. Take a breath or two here. Just pause. Okay, going again. If you're feeling ready, inhale the arms out and up. Exhale, dive it over the legs. We're going to take slight variations here. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. And then exhale, step the right foot back to a lunge here. Now, you can keep that back heel up, or you can turn it down to the floor. Either way. And we're going to straighten through the front leg, or begin to straighten through the front leg. Whatever's available to you, start to draw that left hip point back. If you're on the blocks, maybe the highest level, or you have your chair, and lengthen the spine. Right, so we're working on squaring the hips. We're working on drawing that left hip back. and lengthening the spine. So again, heel can be down or back heel can be up. You decide what's right for you here. And then we're gonna lift it up to stand, okay? And hands to the hips. So again, either back heel up or down on the angle, really sending that heel back, opening through thigh and hip flexor here, right? And we're gonna work our way to warrior two in this way. So again, it can be high lunge or it can be the back foot down. Either way, we're gonna inhale, lift the chest, lift the heart, and then exhale, bend through that left knee, through that front knee. And then if you'd like, take the arms up. More classic warrior one. Right? So you decide, take it with ease. Maybe it's just the babyest gesture of warrior one with just a slight bend on that left knee, or maybe you're coming in a little bit deeper. See what's for you today. Take a final inhale, lift the heart, and then exhale, open it out, warrior two. And pause here a moment, a couple of breaths, finding warrior two. Turn that left palm up. Inhale, lift up. And we're going to exhale into side angle. Forearm to the thigh. Hand is to the hip, right hand, or it's coming over. You decide. And then we're going to take the whole thing and rotate it. If the heel's been down, you're going to bring it up. And then we're going to place the hands down, step back, and lower down. Inhale, lengthen, backward extension of some kind. Exhale, somewhere between child to downward facing dog. Find your way here. Couple of breaths. Okay, inhale, right leg back. And exhale, step that right foot forward. And we repeat on the second side. So get blocks or chair in place. Maybe the back heel turns down. We're going to start to draw that right hip crease back and lengthen. Lengthen through the right leg, lengthen through the torso. You want some lift, some extension, right? So don't let the practice contribute to your klala, to your curse list. Let it contribute to bracha. How can you be open and cultivate that in your practice, right? A little bit of heightening of awareness, softening of judgment, right? Softening the goals. And then inhale and come on up. You might need to adjust the legs in some way. Maybe they need to, the stance needs to shorten or lengthen. Maybe it needs to widen from side to side. So check that out. Find that standing stance with the heel down or up. Lengthen through the tailbone, and then as you're ready, begin to bend through that right knee, maybe a little, maybe a lot. And if you'd like, bring the arms up. Warrior one. Breathing here. So maybe the gaze is forward, maybe the gaze is up, you decide. Another nice modification can be bending the elbows, clasping the hands behind the head, cradling the head as you sort of lift up and back. Final inhale, lift, and then open it out. Warrior two. Breathe here. And then turn the palm to face up, the right palm. Inhale, lift up, reverse warrior. And we're going to exhale, side angle. So maybe the upper arm comes over. Maybe it stays at your hip. You decide. Keep the breath moving. And then as you're ready, just turn the whole thing down, hands to the floor, to the blocks, and then step it forward. Feet together, folding over the legs. As you're ready, inhale and come on up. Lift up, arms up. And then exhale, coming back to center. Mountain pose. Just pause. Breathe. Accept the blessing. Choose the blessing. Good. We're going to make our way to seated. You might want to have a little cushion under the hips. You'll see we're going to come to cross legs. Either shin in front, doesn't matter. We're going to inhale and lengthen up tall, and then as we exhale, we're going to fold. So maybe you're coming to the chair and placing your forehead on the chair. Maybe you're making some kind of tower with the blocks and placing your head on the blocks or block. Just see where it is. Maybe the crown of your head comes all the way to the floor. You'll see, but try to put some support for your head. Lengthen your spine. Right, and not coming to your edgiest edge of folding, but come to a place where you have a certain amount of comfort and also a certain amount of resistance kind of engaged, perhaps with the outer hips, the buttocks. Any pain or strain we want to avoid. So if there's any pain in the lower back, any, God forbid, shooting pain, you want to just come right out of that. And just let yourself soften where you can and give over to this. You know, really in yoga, not every pose is a blessing for every person every day. And I'm sure that you've absolutely encountered that in your practice. And one pose might be a blessing for you on a certain day or even for many years. And then all of a sudden become actually a curse, you know, i.e. contraindicated, right? Not actually to your benefit. And so we never can do we mustn't do our practice in a rote or robotic way. We have to pay great attention to this organism of the body, this ecosystem, this home of ours that is constantly changing and it's under duress. It has, you know, basic stressors and also sometimes acute stressors. Come on up when you're ready and just change the cross of the shins and then come forward once again, just to get the other side. And take your time. You might need different set of support. Right, so we have to stay really attentive to blessing and curse. It's constantly transmuting, changing. And the first step is really noticing with full awareness, without judgment, how it is right now. And being able to make an assessment. As you're ready, come on up. We're going to come onto our back. If you were with us last week, towards the end of the Q&A, I talked a little bit about the famous banana stretch. So I wanted to include that in our practice today. I thought it would be really helpful. So we're going to come onto the back. And first, just find yourself bring yourself to constructive rest. That is, the knees bent, the soles of the feet on the floor, the elbows out to the sides, and the palms resting on the low belly or on the low ribs. And allow especially your torso, but the whole body really to release a little bit, to drop to the floor, to give over its weight, its stress, especially when we come from standing to the floor here to supine. You might notice through the parts of your back, places that just automatically grip or hold. And when we get here to the floor, it's very healing. We can just see, oh, that's happening. That's gripping. That's out of line. Oh, I can just let it settle. So see if with each exhale you can just settle a little bit. Okay, so we're going to move into this stretch in stages. It's a stretch, a really deep stretch for the side body and even down into the deeper abdominal muscles and the psoas muscle. So I'm going to take us into it and just note if at any time something's not for you, you just pause. You can just do upper body without the lower body, for instance, so you don't have to come all the way and we'll go slowly and you'll just note how it is. So the first step is bringing the upper body, the torso, the shoulders up toward, to the right side of your mat. So you make a curve here over to the right side. And then if it's available to you, extend the arms overhead and take hold of the left wrist with the right hand, right? So you have this nice side stretch for the left side of the body here. Take a couple breaths here as you gently tug on that left wrist, right? And if that's too much, if it's too much in the shoulder, or the ribs, or whatever, you can also just take like a cactus arm or keep the arms even by your sides. Right, so maybe this will be enough for you, or maybe you want to also take the legs. You'll heel toe the legs over toward the right, and you'll extend the legs toward the right corner of the mat. And you'll perhaps cross left heel over right heel. And stretch and extend through the heels. Now, that said, the grabbing of the left wrist and the crossing of left foot over right, you might feel it actually in the opposite direction, and that's fine too. That you might want to cross differently or hold the wrist differently. And again, you may only want a part of this stretch and not all of it. It can be really a lot in that hip area. It can be wonky in the lower back for some of us. So pay attention, re'eh, see from the inside. How is this going? You can extend through the heels and extend through the hands. And then when you're done, we unwind just as we came in and super slowly bend the knees, release the legs. Bring them back to the center line, release the hands, and bring the torso back to the center line, and pause. Let's take a pause. And then as you're ready, we'll take the other side. So moving the shoulders over toward the left side of the mat. Extending the arms long, taking hold of the right wrist with the left hand, giving a little yank, a little tug. And then if you'd like to continue with the legs, heel toe the feet toward the left side of the mat, and then extend left leg, extend right leg towards that left corner of the mat. And then crossing right ankle over left ankle. Again, or vice versa if it feels you want it the other way. Pulling on the wrist. Extending through the heels. Might notice it feels quite different from one side to the other, so pay attention there. If at any moment it gets too much, come on out. If you need a little more, you extend further. See what you need. And then slowly come on out, bend the right knee, bend the left knee. Feet back to center. Release the hands, upper body back to center. And then see what you need for any final stretch before stillness. You might extend both legs long and just give them a little wiggle and see how the legs feel. Or you may hug the knees into the chest. Or take a full body yawn sigh, or maybe you need a twist to complete your practice. Just see what it is that you need. Take it slow, take it gently. Notice how the low back is doing that. Can be a little bit tender after this one. And then make your way to stillness. You might take that blanket and place it under your head, or roll it and place it under the knees. Maybe you want to place your lower legs onto the chair. Find some way to come into stillness. It might be a traditional Shavasana with the legs extended, palms facing up. Or it might look different. Maybe it's constructive rest, or maybe it's even fetal position. Just take a couple minutes to let go, to be still, to be quiet. And begin to deepen the breath, wiggling the fingers and the toes. We start to make our way back to our schedule for the day. Drawing the knees to the chest, making your way over to one side. Take your time. Pause here in this fetal position, just allowing the breath to come and go, a couple of cycles. Really bearing witness to this life-enhancing, life-giving practice. And thanking yourself for engaging today, even if it was hard to get here, hard to get to the mat, hard to get to the Zoom. And then as you're ready, you can press into the hands and come up to a comfortable seat in any way. And take a hand to your heart space, and then place the other hand on top. And see if you can even feel the blessing of your own beating heart. Or some pulse point. Feeling the blessing of this life. And when you're ready, taking a deep inhale, a deep exhale as you release the hands. Allow your eyes to open. Shavua Tov, everyone. Thank you for practicing. I want to share a few links with you before we go into Q&A. I do teach another class, not through IJS, on Sundays, and it's a 90-minute class. It's a smaller class, and it's sliding scale payment. And if you'd like to get on my mailing list, I send out an email every Friday. Here's my email. It's eshammash@gmail.com. You can just pop me an email and ask to be on the list. And as well, I will be teaching together with Rabbi Claudia Kreiman, who's a Chevraya participant. We are doing a retreat at Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health in the Berkshires, November 30th to December 3rd, a pre-Hanukkah retreat. And if that interests you, please check out this link. We'd love to see you. I know many of you have been hoping to meet in person. So we have that opportunity, and I'll also be teaching in April pre-Pesach.